Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
New charges filed against former Boston police officer and union president Patrick Rose. WBZ's Mike LaCrosse is in West Roxbury with the story. Mike?
TheHill.com gives us this story. The Boston Police Department allegedly hid accusations of child molestation against Patrick Rose Sr., a former patrolman who became the president of the police union. An investigation from the Boston Globe found that Boston police knew of the evidence against Rose regarding the allegations and still allowed him to serve as a patrolman. According to the newspaper, the police department filed a criminal complaint against him in 1995 for sexual assault involving a 12-year-old boy. The complaint was dropped, but the department conducted an internal investigation which found that he likely committed a crime. Even with these inquiries, the department allowed Rose to serve as a patrolman for 21 years, eventually becoming a head of a union that represents patrol officers, according to the Globe. The investigation from the Globe further found that after the 1995 incident, Rose was still allowed to have contact with vulnerable children and was even called to testify as the arresting officer in a child sex assault case in 2006.
Rose was initially arrested last week by state police and charged with several offenses, including indecent assault and battery on a child under 14. The new charges include statutory rape of a child and indecent assault and battery on a child under 14, dating back to 1991.
The 66-year-old retired officer was initially charged last August with raping a child from the time she was 7 through 14 years old. Within weeks, 5 more people came forward to accuse Rose of molesting them as children.
Rose was not in court this morning, but appeared before a judge at West Roxbury District Court remotely.
Mayor Kim Janey said it is appalling that there was a documented history of alleged child sexual abuse, yet this individual was able to serve out his career as an officer and eventually become the head of the patrolmen's union for several years. Under no circumstance will crimes of this nature be tolerated under my administration, and we will not turn a blind eye to injustices as they rise.
Mayor Kim Janey says the department needs to be more transparent. As WBZ's Paul Burton tells us, she's being motivated in part by a new scandal surrounding an officer who was an accused child molester.
As mayor, the likes of Patrick Rose will not be protected on my watch.
Acting Boston Mayor Kim Janey says Boston is entering a new era of police transparency and accountability. Today, she ordered the release of internal affairs documents as soon as possible related to former Boston police officer and union chief Patrick Rose.
As we now know, an alleged child molester was allowed to remain on the police force and rise through the ranks of the patrolmen's union for 2 decades. I have directed the city's law department to immediately review Patrick Rose's internal affairs file and redact any information that could compromise the identities of the sexual assault or domestic violence victims. I was heartbroken and angry to learn that nothing was done to keep Mr. Rose away from children.
The Hill has reached out to the police department and police union for comment. Rose is reportedly fighting the allegations brought against him.
The Boston Globe reports the Boston Police Department in 1995 filed a criminal complaint against Rose for sexual assault of a 12-year-old child. The criminal complaint was eventually dropped, but an internal investigation concluded that Rose likely committed a crime.
Rose pleaded not guilty to 33 total charges involving 6 alleged victims, and he's being held on $200,000 cash bail.
William Keefe, a lawyer for Rose, told the Boston Globe, "My client maintains his innocence to all of the charges that have been brought against him, and he maintains his innocence to what he was alleged to have transpired back in 1995. Well, they all maintain their innocence. You ever watch Shawshank Redemption? Hey, what are you in for? I didn't do it.
Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you ask.
You gonna fit right in. Everybody in here is innocent. Did you know that? Hey, what you in here for?
Didn't do it. Lawyer fucked me.
Wasn't me. But yet they have 30 allegations. 30. Now, I could see if they had 1 or 2 allegations and it was people he arrested or whatever, and they could say, maybe. But 30 allegations. You don't have 30 allegations if this guy's completely innocent. Like, what, 30 allegations they're going to, like, team up against him? Yeah, let's get this cop. 30, there's some truth in there. There's a little bit of truth in there. And what gets me is they're alleging that the Boston Police Department hid those allegations to allow him to finish out his career. Not only that, he rises to head of the police union. He's the guy fighting for cops to keep their job. But Karma's a witch and she takes no prisoners, and they caught up with him. And now this guy's being charged. 30 allegations he's in on a $200,000 cash bail. I don't know, if he goes to prison, this guy's in trouble because they don't like short eyes in prison. And a police officer, double whammy. So there you go. Patrick Rose Sr., former patrolman. How many other things, though, that really, here's what we question. How many other things are the Boston Police Department keeping secret? How much other dirt and corruption is in the Boston Police Department that they're not talking about? Loose lips sink ships. Snitches end up in ditches. Think maybe they ought to find out if any of the top brass was involved in this and start getting rid of them. I mean, even the mayor says, no, this ain't happening in my administration. Is the mayor saying that because this guy got exposed, or because she truly means this don't happen in my administration? Because if it's the former, she's just trying to save face because she has constituents. If it's the latter, then of course she cares. But does she really see? And I'm not trying to attack Mayor Kim Janey. You know, good for her for saying that if she's truly standing behind those remarks. But, you know, I don't know. Did she really mean it? Or was it because all of a sudden this is exposed and she's like, oh, you never know. I want to think the latter. I want to think that this mayor is pissed off and she's like, he's gone. We don't put up with that bullcrap. But Mayor Janey, what else is going on in the Boston Police Department? Maybe you should get some people over there, start auditing them and going through an internal review there.
Today, Janey says she devotes $1 million to the Boston Office of Police Accountability and Transparency. Janey also says her 2022 budget proposal dramatically reduces police overtime expenses and will expand the police cadet program by 50%, adding 20 new diverse officers to the department.
The state's police reform efforts are also making progress. Earlier this month, Governor Charlie Baker and Attorney General Maura Healey appointed 9 people to the new Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission. That commission will create a mandatory certification process for police officers, as well as a process to decertify officers.
I'm going to close with this. I'm going to put the link to this story in the description box below. You click that little arrow and then it drops down. I'm also going to put a link to another video I did there. I didn't do the video. It's a video that I showed for news purposes out of Glendale, Arizona, an 81-year-old man with dementia. I'm not really going to contest the arrest so much. I know a lot of people are attacking the cops for arresting this guy. They had to pick him up 8 times. He smeared poop all over the walls of the I think it was Dunkin' Donuts. Was it in the Dunkin' Donuts? One of the walls of the businesses he smeared poop all over. You know, the family is at fault here as well. They said, well, he just gets away from us. Well, so does an 8-year-old kid. You could still get in trouble for that. So does a 3-year-old toddler. Runs out in the street. You could still get in trouble if you're not watching them. So I fault the family as well for not watching that elderly man. What my issue is with that story is the people at the police station when they say he soiled his Depends or whatever diaper that he's wearing or his pants, that they're all making jokes. Well, I pooped before I went to briefing. Yeah, I poop in the morning at coffee. I poop. Hey, it's normal. You know what? You're going to be 81 someday and you're going to poop your pants. And people are saying, well, here's the thing. People are saying, well, it's not the police officer's job, okay, to clean a crappy dude. That is mistreatment of an elderly person. That's elderly abuse. You know that, right? The police should have gotten on the phone and said, we need AMR out here, or we need a medic out here. We've got an elderly man who's crapped himself. He appears to have some type of mental deficiency. Can we get someone out? And you know what they would do? They send out somebody, either like a CNA or a medic, usually a CNA maybe, who would come out, change him, wipe him down and everything. Maybe they could give him some, hospital clothes to put on until the family comes and picks him up. That's what they should have done. So all you people going, well, it's not the police's job to wipe down a crappy dude. No, but it is their job to get on the phone and ask for a CNA and say, we've got a man with mental problems here that's pooped himself. And they will come out and they will... No, you just leave them sitting in feces because, well, not my job. Okay, Pontius Pilate, wash your hands clean. Thank you for watching, guys. Community Leo Watch. Watching Leos, that's law enforcement officers, to include those messing up from coast to coast.